In the hustle and bustle of modern life, women often find themselves disconnected from our true selves, entangled in the web of endless responsibilities and relentless stimuli. Yet, deep within, there is a yearning to return to self, to a state of being where we are grounded and whole. This is an invitation to step back from the chaos and create a moment of stillness, a sanctuary where you can breathe deeply and feel your body's gentle rhythms. It's a call to journey inward to the sacred center where your innate wisdom resides and your soul's deepest memories and truths are kept. This space is always within reach, waiting patiently for you to remember and embrace it. Morrighan beautifully guides us to the golden gate of true being, where you nurture yourself, honor your inner voice, and reconnect with the essence of who you truly are. Valeria interviews Morrighan Lynn. She is a trauma-informed coach, intuitive guide, author, speaker, and spiritual mentor with nearly 2 decades of experience, helping people navigate life's challenges with clarity and confidence. She is the author of The Spirited Human, Proactive Tools for a Reactive World, and creator of her debut oracle deck, The Sovereign Path. Over the past 19 years, Morrighan has worked with clients around the world, appeared on dozens of radio and podcast interviews, and collaborated on multiple television projects. Known for her down-to-earth approach, she blends practical insight with compassionate storytelling, making complex ideas accessible and engaging for audiences of all backgrounds. Whether she's talking about personal growth, resilience, or reclaiming one's voice, Morrighan brings humor, heart, and a refreshing perspective to every conversation, leaving listeners feeling inspired, empowered, and ready to take their next step. Meet Morrighan at morrighanlynn.com. Here's the interview with Morrighan Lynn.
Aloha, everyone. This is another Quest for Wellbeing podcast conversation, and my guest today is Morrighan Lynn. She is a trauma-informed coach, intuitive guide, author, speaker, and spiritual mentor with nearly 2 decades of experience helping people navigate life's challenges with clarity and confidence. She's the author of The Spirited Human, Proactive Tools for a Reactive World, and the creator of her debut oracle deck, The Sovereign Path. So this is my brief introduction to you, Morrighan, and I'm reading this off my screen. But the full bio will be at the end and also on the podcast notes. There's a lot more to you. I love your website too. It's so beautiful. Everything about it. Thank you so much for saying yes to this conversation. Thank you for being here. And the question that I love asking everyone, I always begin with this fundamental question. How would you introduce yourself? Who is Morrighan really in this very moment?
Oh my goodness, what a juicy question. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, first, Liz, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to meet you. I am always shifting. I think that's why that question on one hand feels so juicy to me, because who am I now? That's so rich. And then it's always developing. And so I feel like who I am today, stepping into this space of fullness and wholeness, because I have had quite the journey of being a people pleaser, learning to move and navigate through the world with sovereign boundaries. That's been a lifelong journey. And I feel that I am in a space where I can really show up powerfully for people, because I'm finally understanding what it means to be fully embodied so that I can show up powerfully for myself. Yeah. And so that has been a very big shift for me in the last year and a half.
Wow. What's not to love about that?
Right. Woohoo, celebration time.
Yes, it is, Morrighan. It's truly beautiful to hear that. Thank you for the inspiration. Yes. And it's something, and it's sad even to acknowledge that that happens a lot more with women than men, this sense of being confined and not being able to be part of life as a whole, to be seen, to show ourselves as we really are, you know.
Mhm.
It's something that it saddens me to see that as a reality also for myself. It has been for so long. And it still is, though. There's a lot of parts of me that don't want, has a hard time showing up because it's not accepted, or it wouldn't be
Yeah.
accepted. And then for me has been truth. I love, I can't help it. But just when I feel something, say exactly what I want to say, the way it comes to me. Of course, I learned to be kind, so I kind of blend them, truth and kindness. But it's
Mhm.
still not an easy path. And I guess I want to ask you that question: how do you navigate the realm of truth telling in your reality?
I feel like you and I are already connected because
Yeah. Yeah.
I am a divine disruptor.
Mm.
So truth telling it runs in my veins. I think that I was born to tell the truth. And I agree with you. There is a way to deliver truth in such a way that it can be received by others if they're willing, of course. I'm not
Right.
responsible for that part, but
Yeah.
there is a way to stand in that truth, to be unshakable in self,
Mm.
and then also sit with other people, perhaps in their disappointment or their discomfort of receiving that truth.
Right.
But I feel like at the core of me, that is always what's going to lead. Is I'm here to disrupt the programs that aren't working, the patterns that keep us trapped in the old behaviors. Like there's some real juicy power right there of being that disruptor. And so it isn't easy. I don't always like that part of me because it can
Uh-huh.
sometimes get me in trouble with people. But
Oh yes.
I think at the core, it like truth is truth. And as long as I can connect to the compassion of delivering it, I feel like I walk that line pretty well, or I try to anyway. I'm always like learning more about that. But yeah, that's at the core of who I am. I always want to lead with that truth.
Yes. Thank you for being on the same page in a sense, right? It's so wonderful to talk to people that understand us. Like there's
Yeah.
something about that that really opens my heart. It
Mm.
really does. And maybe that's why I host this podcast too. It never ended for some reason because it keeps calling as a calling. Like, yeah, maybe that's what it is. If you can't really speak the truth openly to people around you, your neighbors, your family members, then yeah, you have a space for that. In a sense,
Mhm.
that's how I feel about this, about the podcast. So thank you again for your presence. It means a lot to me.
Yeah, I hear that. I hear that. It's beautiful.
So I wanted to, I'm very curious about how you tapped, not even discovered, but uncovered this courage in you. I call it courage, but the words really, I wanted to say spirit or soul.
Mm.
How did you uncover that? Because there's so much fear for most of us. That keeps blocking. Fears coming from trauma has been my case, and so many people I know. But I would love to know your backstory.
Yeah. Yeah, I do remember. So I was raised in a family where communication
Yeah,
was weaponized,
mm,
emotions were weaponized. There was a
yeah,
lot of trauma and instability in that space of safety. And so
right,
I know that's where the people pleaser in me was developed. But then there was also this other side of me that was connected to justice, I would say, like
mm,
what's fair, what's not fair. And I remember I was probably about 13 or 14 and realized that I am different than my family. Like I felt very on the outside of them because I could see the way they maneuvered each other and worked each other and manipulated the situations.
right,
And the amount of energy it took to do that. And I just didn't understand. Even that young, I was in my head thinking, just say the thing, just do the thing that you
Yeah.
said you're going to do, right? Like, why are we dancing around the situation? It feels so exhausting. And it
Right.
really set the precedent for me being the ostracized family member. I couldn't fit in. They didn't want me to fit in with them. And so it set this kind of fury in me to burn down what feels false, like that
Mm,
fiery side of me. Even though the people pleaser was in there as well, it's almost like a dual personality. I have this fire where I'm like, why are we dancing around this? I don't sweep things under the carpet very well. I
mm,
don't
mm,
pretend like I didn't just see that thing.
mm,
It's just truth. And I'm grateful I am led that way because I just feel like it's clean, it's efficient, it gets to the root of the problem really quickly. Like I don't understand the dancing around it. I don't quite
mm.
resonate with that, you know?
Right. Ah, tell me about it. Sounds like
Yes,
I'm here myself. Yeah,
yes,
like my own voice from the past.
yes.
Yes. So a question that I have for you, because it's reoccurring, and I still have people around me, close to me, my family members, who are difficult, and I
Mhm.
can't really talk to them, say certain things. And so what do you think that is? Is there a purpose to have to still kind of be in contact, or not being able to actually get away from them because they're close
Mm.
family members? So is that a soul's kind of universal divine intelligence kind of design, just to help us to grow and evolve faster?
Possibly. I mean, there is a conversation in there around, soul contracts with people that are in your life
Right.
and who we signed up to be, and like we could like dissect that whole theory around that. I feel like at the end of the day though, we are human and we are worth our boundaries. We are worth advocating for our own well-being. And
Right.
so for me, the conversation will go into more of a space of, if you want to be in someone's life, and as long as you're not being harmed,
Mm,
maybe
yeah.
you're not saying all the things you want to say, but it's not harming you. Maybe you have that one uncle that just has his ways and his thoughts and his ideas, and
Yeah.
you just don't want to get into the argument. That's
Mhm.
fine. I can kind of see that. But I feel like where we get into trouble is when we're minimizing our truth and
Mm,
it's costing our well being, or it's
mm,
costing our self worth or our vitality, and it's starting to kind of inch over into the harm. I
yeah.
feel like that's where we've got to make some better decisions about having a little more distance with that person. Or
Yeah.
I've even gone no contact with family members. Like that's the
Yeah.
nth degree, of course, and a
Yeah.
very personal decision, but it is an option for people that feel abused and harmed by those family members. I feel like you get to have the right to your own worth and your own well-being to move away from what is harming you.
Mm. Yes, beautifully said. It's very clear to me. That kind of discernment is so crucial, especially for those who come from trauma.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's why I love about your work too. That one of the first descriptions in your bio about you, it's trauma informed coach. So
Mm-hmm.
that makes a lot of sense, because we, myself being having that background, it's so much harder it has been to say no enough. I do say no, of course. I have been saying no for a while now, for the last 20 years, but it has that flavor, the aftertaste of guilt, of shame. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. That voice that keeps telling me, you need to be kind, you need to be good to people. And why,
Right.
even though I really meant say no. So
Right.
what would you suggest in this case? Like, does it go away, that voice that keeps telling us, makes us feel bad about being good to ourselves?
Yeah, I think the more you anchor into the conviction that you said what you meant, like when you can really sit in that almost like a review of like, did I mean what I said? Yeah, I meant what I said.
Yeah.
The guilt and the shame is going to come primarily because society has trained us to believe that you have to sacrifice a certain part of you because it's family. In
Right.
this whole like paradigm of like, well, but it's your mom, and
Yes.
well, but it's your, that kind of guilt tripping. Like, I don't
Yeah.
respond well to that because
Right.
my clients will be the first one to say, I give full permission to move away from the person that is harming you. And family is just people. They're not that
Mm.
special.
Mm.
We get ourselves permission to move away from what is harming us. And
Mm.
again, that's a very personal decision. It comes with its own set of baggage when you move away and you maybe go no contact or you minimize contact. It comes with its own healing
Mm.
journey because there is a sense of loss. You are no longer on the in crowd. You're now ostracized on some level. So there's a little bit of a delicate dance there, but also again, you are worth your own well-being. You are worth advocating for yourself. Period. Yeah.
Yes, yes. I hear every single word and the intention behind that. I
Mhm.
just one of the things that I came across, well, from my own experience and also from reading a lot, and I just talk to so many people and I read a lot, so I kind of get all this information, and a lot of
Mhm.
that is kind of their facts. I was really shocked to know that women, especially women, but I guess men too, who are physically abused, the domestic abuse thing, they don't leave. They have a hard time leaving the abusers, and
Mm.
they don't. There's a reason why. I was really shocked when I came across this information. I'm like, oh, I think I read something that said why they don't leave. Abused people or women don't leave their abusers.
Mm.
So, from my own experience, I've never been abused. Oh, as a child, yes, physically, emotionally, and all kinds of abuse, but not as in my relationships, in my marriages. I never had the physical abuse, but
Mm.
emotional, yes, spiritually, yes.
Yeah.
But what I was trying to say is that what it comes to me a lot. I came across this concept that you're probably familiar with. It's called the unmothered, and then the unfathered too, but especially the unmothered child. Have you
Mm.
heard about this term?
Not specifically that word, but intuitively, I can feel what you
Mm.
mean. I feel like
Yeah.
that's when there's that nurturing quality is not on a healthy level.
Mm.
I can feel it in my body reacting to you. I call it the mother
Mm.
wound,
Yes.
where you are maybe parentified. A
Mm.
lot of the times, the mother feels jealousy for the daughter. So there's a little bit of a competition there. That certainly was my experience where I couldn't do anything good enough. And then when I did it well, it was squashed. And,
Ah,
so there's like this competition kind of energy that happens between, well, the child is not. She doesn't know that she's involved in that. It's the mother putting that upon her. But yeah, that I can kind of feel that if that's what you mean.
yeah, it's part of it for sure. Yeah, that's
Hmm.
part of it. But it's really not having the nurturing. You mentioned the word being nurtured by that feminine um, kind of ground. It's something that's almost like
Hmm.
the soil for the tree, for the flowers to grow and really flourish. We need that. It's I mean, I came across this through Carl Jung's psychology, but also through other women. I was just incredibly, almost like fascinated by the idea that this is so true. We
Yeah.
go on in life so hungry for love, hungry to be accepted, hungry for
Mm.
attention because we didn't have that foundation. We didn't have the soil that gave us this stability, this sense of
Mm,
safety. It's okay to be you. It's you don't need to try to be something else in order to be loved. You're loved for what you are, exactly as you are.
right.
So, and these are very powerful, just words, but when it is embodied by a mother passing that to a child, oh, I mean, I cannot even imagine, but I have met some women and men who have had that. They are so
Mhm.
different. They don't have that hunger. So, I guess I can relate to that's. I understand why some of those women don't leave abusers, the husbands or the people who are abusing them, because they still feel like they need that sense of belonging, even though it's not healthy. They don't even know what that is anyway. Healthy love, they never had it.
Right.
So yes, it's. Gosh, I don't even know what question to ask you, but I would love to hear your comment about that since I explained a little bit more what the unmothered child is.
Hmm. Yeah, what's really landing for me as you're speaking is
Yeah,
really feeling that connection with your mother is your first love.
right,
Like that is your first human connection
right,
in the world of all that is, right?
mm,
And if that, even in utero, if that
right,
bond isn't created or facilitated or even given a chance, then there's definitely a sense of detachment that the child can come in with, like a subconscious awareness that where do I belong? Who do I belong to? And it really like that is a powerful wound to work through. And in
yes,
relation to, how we grow into adults, this is why a lot of women have what's called the sister wound, because we
yeah,
have our first love, which is this female presence. And if that is at the start not a safe space, then we have harder time connecting with other women in sacred circle or community or clubs and things like that, because that trust was not grounded, was not created, was not facilitated. And so it shows up in a lot of different ways. It definitely shows up in love relationships. I can see how that would play out as well.
yeah,
But yeah, it is the source of, it's the core wound, and then all wounds come from the core wound. So it's why it'll show up in different areas of one's life, because it can all be traced to that first wounding.
yes, yeah. That's it, Morgan. Yeah, it's very much true for wow, most people. I talk
Yeah,
to some people. I know so many
unfortunately.
people. Yeah, and I feel it. I'm like, wait a minute, you
Yeah.
are a mother too.
Mhm.
Everybody is a mother. What's happening? Um, And I can tell by the hunger for love and men and women and even older women. I see that they're still so hungry, and I'm like, oh my god, they have
Mhm.
never found that part of them that just kind of ends all hunger. Knowing oneself. So I'm very. So I kind of went spiritual all the way, all in, because
Yeah.
it felt like psychology was I don't know, for some reason intuitively it was not something that interested me in the very beginning of my adolescent years. So I went to spiritual, and that has been so helpful, but in a very real way. I know that some people might say, it's just spiritual bypassing. There's a lot of that, and
Mhm.
there's a lot of trying to kind of cover reality, not see reality for what is. That I'm very aware of these things. But no, I have found a sense of peace of knowing what I am. And
Mhm.
that just has been incredibly helpful when it comes to that hunger. So I'm not as hungry anymore. I love human connection. I love being around people, but I'm very much aware that I don't need certain people around me, and I can say no now and stay away from them. And before I couldn't. So now
Yeah.
I see clearly the difference that I
Beautiful.
couldn't do it
Beautiful.
before.
Yeah, it sounds like you've done a lot of the internal work that it takes, because when you speak to the hunger for love, I what drops in for me is the desire for that connection, right? But we have been so disconnected from self because of all of that trauma as children. Where do we belong? Who do we belong to? That definitely takes us away from self. And I feel like the journey, yes, to have people in our lives that we feel safe with and we feel nurtured by, but I feel like first and foremost, the journey is the person back to self. Come back to self, remember self, anchor, embody, heal. And then everything else is a bonus. Like now, the hunger for love is not a starvation. It's a craving, like, oh, I'm just in the mood for this yummy banana split, blah, 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 whatever, right? So it's like
Yes.
your starvation turns to you're satiated, you're fed, and it's just lovely to be able to have dinner with somebody.
Yes, Morgan. I love the way you picture that painting.
Yeah.
I'm very visual, so I'm like, oh, I love that. Yeah, that's it. So it feels more. It's a lot more fun that way too,
Yeah,
without that starvation, right? Like really being around people or with someone just because you need to be loved. It's a huge
exactly.
difference when you just want to. Oh, let's just have fun. So much better to
Yeah.
do things together without forcing anything. So I would love for you to talk to me and everyone who's listening about the two books. One is the oracle cards, but the first one, the spirited human. Talk to me about that book and also the sovereign path. I love this word. There's something about this word. I was not
Mm,
ready many years ago, but oh, like 5 years ago when I heard it, it just opened my heart too. And I love that you have this word on your website almost everywhere. Even the sovereign woman, the sovereign
yes.
way. I mean, all that. I love it all.
You're tantalizing my spirit right now because this is yum yum. I love it so much.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, The Spirited Human is a book that when I first began coaching, I started noticing that we're all the same. We just have our own flavor of how we need the language. Like everyone has, a body, emotions, a mind, the chakra system. Everyone has all of these components that comprise this beautiful being that we are.
Right.
And those components need maintenance. They need support. And through trauma and disconnection and woundedness, we lose touch with them. And so the spirited human is almost a basic step by step of how to reconnect to those components of yourself, how to give them nourishment, how to bring them into alignment. They definitely have a wisdom of their own, and like the chakras and the aura and all of these beautiful abilities that we have. They know what they're doing, but we also get to connect with them and nourish them, right? That word keeps getting dropped in. So the spirited human is a way to do that step by step. I love giving information in such a way that it's not overwhelming. We don't need to know everything all at once, all the time. We get
Yeah.
to, walk the breadcrumb trail and take our time, one thing at a time. And so that's what the book is for anybody that's wanting to deepen that relationship with themselves.
Yes, I love your work. It's so inspiring. And it's set only for women, and it feels that way. Do you also have male clients?
I do. I do work with men. My preference is women, excuse me, just in the sense that I feel like I can relate where they are as far as people pleasers and empaths and such, but I actually have several male clients. So, yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful to know because we help one another, right?
Yeah.
To me, it's very important to work as a community, work together. It's not, I have a hard time with separation. I guess
Hmm.
I know I've been, has been suggested, maybe you can only, why don't you try working only with women, targeting your message just for women? But it never really resonated true to me because then it would
Yeah.
create division. And I think we have enough of that in our
Yeah.
reality.
Exactly.
So that's wonderful to know that you work with men too.
Yeah.
And I would love to hear about the embodied soul. I guess I allured to that question in the very beginning about the soul, the soul's calling. maybe I can begin with that question. How do you describe the soul?
I feel the soul is eternal. It is the part of us that lives on even when the body dies and decays. It is the part of us that houses all of the experiences and is vast and beautiful and completely divine.
Yeah.
And my way of saying it is the soul gets very bored, and then we want to incarnate as humans so that we can live in all of the chaos and all of the mess and all of the tragedy so that we can
Wow.
have something cool to write home about, I suppose, because it's what we do. We have such divinity as the soul, but then how do you know you're divine if you don't experience ego? You have to have the contrast to know self deeper and more rich, right? We learn through experience. And so if the soul doesn't incarnate, it only knows concepts and ideas. It gets to have the embodied experience, which means becoming human and coming to earth and playing in this gigantic playground with all the other humans. And then we die and we go back and we repeat and we just keep playing this game. And it's just all for fun.
Wow, I love the lightness and the playfulness of
Yeah.
your answer about the soul. So it's not something to be worried about. Some people talk about I have heard so many things. Oh, if we don't learn the lessons here, then we have to come back and suffer more, and it will be dreaded. Be
That's
dreadful.
so heavy.
Oh, I know. So it's not quite like that. I love your perspective, the way you see it.
Yeah.
Huh. In a way, I do too. In a way, when we realize what we are, then it becomes so much more fun and
Yeah.
playful. Like, wait a minute, I don't need to be afraid of this or that. I just have to come from that place of knowing myself, or what we all are. Creation. We're just creations of the divine. There's nothing that's not divine. Everything is sacred. So it's easier for the mind that tends to divide and to kind of create boundaries and all those things, separation, really. No, this is me, my body, this is you, and don't come closer. So
Yeah.
I have learned to train the mind to understand that that's okay, to let
Yeah.
whatever it is in. But I'm a student of Advaita Vedanta, which is a non-dualistic perspective. Basically, they train you to, if we, somebody's ready, to train the mind and body to realize that you just one with everything. Basically, you're flowing with life as life. So
Mhm.
that resonated so profoundly with me that I mean, it became a realization. I hope at this point, then, because I take everything so not so seriously. But I do see one of the things that I honor, and I can help at some honoring feelings. So I
Mhm.
have a hard time with injustice when I see, somebody, or children, innocent, like the planet and trees and the animals or children being abused. Oh,
Right.
that really
Right.
gets to me. So how do you kind of balance the playfulness of life and the seriousness of suffering?
Oh, that's such a great question. I feel like we're here for all of it, right? There's, of course, in the macrocosm, none of this means anything. As the divine, all that is,
Mm,
it's an experience, right? And
yeah.
yet we incarnate as these individual pieces of spirit to have the full human experience. And so in the microcosm, we're called to be of service on whatever level that means for each person. I feel like that's what you lead in your joy, you lead in your, like, what we would call purpose. Like, if when you feel the passion of, I'm going to be an advocate there, I'm going
Mm,
to make a difference there,
yeah.
that's the right and the honor of being a human. I feel like that's part of, yes, playfulness of why we incarnate, but also I want to know what that means. I want to feel that. I want to make that happen. And so it's a micro macrocosm relationship of, Can you walk in both? Can you walk in the macrocosm of all that is and nothing really matters and we're here for all of it and the joy and the sorrow, etc.
Mm,
And one foot in the microcosm of while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and go do that. That's what I'm going to make this human life be about. And
mm.
I feel like the wisdom is being able to walk the line of one foot in one side and the other foot in the other side and not get too caught up in either one.
Ah, yes, I hear wisdom there, profound wisdom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just being in this almost neutrality, which to me, that's the more I tap into this. The quality is a sense really of the what we call soul, spirit. It's very neutral. Yeah, that doesn't take
Mm-hmm.
sides, right? No side, no feminine, no masculine. It's really, yeah, it's right in between.
Yeah.
It almost feels cold sometimes. And I remember when I got really deep into it, I I remember embodying that and being, when I saw something, it's almost like as if life was like playing, in that sense of playfulness, playing with me at that time. I
Mm.
remember seeing a woman being attacked. She has a little dog with her. It was in France, and she was being attacked by this other woman, just pulling her hair and beating her up. I could not believe I was witnessing that. I think I never witnessed something like that in my whole life. I was shocked, and that was
Yeah.
exactly at the time where I was, nothing really matters. I'm just
Right.
doing it. Doesn't really matter and that was a wake up call. I remember, like, wait a minute, no, 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 no.
Yeah.
Maybe I can do both. I can be compassionate, and also knowing that this is not the end of the world, but I can
Right.
help that woman. I can do something if I can. I can feel what I feel, and I can do something if I can to help. So
Mm.
that moment changed everything, as if the universe, life itself, was trying to teach me a lesson. I mean, I just at this moment I have goosebumps. Like, wait, because that was like out of a movie. I never had
Yeah.
seen that before. It was exactly in the
Yeah.
moment where I was totally into this. I'm just, or maybe it was the ego, right, Morgan, trying to embody spirit, because that really felt like that too. Maybe something in me was trying to, oh, I know what truth is. It's neutral. It's in between. It doesn't feel. It doesn't. Not supposed to be feeling anything. And
Yeah.
that I got my lesson. Yeah. No.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
a really good point. I think you hit on something really really fascinating. Is that I wonder. This isn't an absolute truth, but I sit and I'm curious about a lot of things. So I wonder if that part of spirituality where a lot of people talk about spiritual bypassing and it
mm,
like almost being disengaged from human life. Like I see them as
right.
being a little
Right.
bit too much in the spirituality and not grounded enough as a human. If
Mm.
that's the ego stating, look, I'm spiritual, I have no
Yes.
attachment to this, I have no emotion to this,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is exactly being in your ego. How beautiful of a dance is that?
Yes, it is. And it's also fascinating that we are able to kind of reflect upon that or realize that.
Yeah.
I mean, fascinates me. How can we be aware of so much? So there is a part of us that's, it's almost like there's no gap. It's so fully human and fully divine that it
Hmm.
doesn't push anything away. It doesn't it doesn't close it it's that doesn't close the door. It doesn't get too close. It's just right there. But I heard before, and I say that all the time, fully human, fully divine. So it's not really one or the other.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember that experience, and it was very humbling, and then it changed a lot for me.
Yeah.
And I don't know about the ego. I know the ego has gotten this very bad press, but we do need to have it's that uniqueness, isn't it, Morgan, about ourselves too? That
Yeah.
might feel like the ego. Oh, it shows up all the time with this voice, but isn't it necessary? I think. I mean, that's what brings uniqueness to everything, isn't it? That,
Oh, yeah. I see ego as being such, I mean, it's a vital component if you're going to be human for sure,
right.
because ego provides so many beautiful things. It allows us to be separate from each other. Like I am me and you are you simply because we have our egos, and it allows
Yes.
us to have our individualism. I like my foods, you like your foods. Like it
Yeah.
really provides the human separatism, is really what it provides. Separate not only with each other, but also separate from spirit. It allows us to have the full immersion of the human experience. And to do that, we have to almost forget that we are divine, right? So it provides
Mm,
separatism. And
yeah.
there's definitely a shadow and a virtue to the ego. I feel like we're talking more about the shadow ego, like that arrogance or
Yeah.
egotistical kind of space. But there
Yeah.
is a virtue to the ego. And I feel I agree with you. I've said many, many times over the years that the ego gets a bad rap. So I love that you use that language. We are
Yes.
the same, sister. We are the same.
Yes, it does. It gets a very bad press.
Yeah.
Um, but you do talk about something that caught my attention. I made a note here under the embodied soul. You
Mhm.
mentioned the shadow masculine and the shadow feminine, and you describe
Mhm.
what that is. So I would love to hear you to speak about that here, because that's something
Yeah.
that's fascinating to a lot of people and to me.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned earlier Carl Jung's work, and I
Yeah.
really, really love his shadow work. And so when I speak about shadow, the way I characterize it is anything, any label, any identity marker, any kind of personality trait that you're being that is causing harm is in your shadow. Anything
Mm,
that you're being that is not causing harm is virtue.
yeah.
So you can be a healer and then you could be harming your clients or not having boundaries and you're getting harmed. Like that's how you get into a shadow version of a positive word. And so the shadow masculine and the shadow feminine is, I mean, we could do an entire other episode on this conversation, but it's essentially being in those attributes, being in those energies. And if someone is getting harmed, you're in the shadow version of it. So my
Mm,
guides brought me 3 questions to know if you're in your shadow. Am I harming them, whoever the them is? Am I harming them? Are they harming me? Am I harming myself? And if you answer yes to any
mm.
of those questions, you are in the shadow version of that personality trait, behavior, identity, whatever. And so it's a really good check in to see like, is someone getting hurt? Because I want to get back into the virtue of being that trait, of being that essence of me. So it's kind of how I navigate myself when I'm talking about that.
Wow. That's so clear. It's clear, it's beautiful, it's straightforward. There's no
Yeah,
way we can
truth
miss that.
telling.
Yeah, right.
Let's cut to the chase, baby. We got stuff to do.
Oh, I love that. It's just so, you see, I love directness too.
Yeah.
I know that has to do with the masculine more. That's what I heard. That's
Hmm.
more direct. But yeah, gosh, I just love that. I have to make this, yeah, I got to put a post or something about this so people know the way you explained it's so clear. If it is hurting me, if it's hurting someone, if I'm hurting myself.
Yeah.
Wow, it's so clear. Thank you. Thank you, Morgan, for being
Hmm.
in that beautiful space, yeah, of clarity. That's, I just so, it's devotion, I guess. I just love these things, it just kind of,
Oh,
yeah, it's like that fire that's, um, it's truth, isn't it? Truth is that kind of fire that we just let it, the more it burns, the better it is. Like, oh, just
that's
let it
right.
burn. I know not everyone's it's ready to hear these things. And I remember not being ready myself,
Yeah.
hearing all these profound wisdom, but I just heard, I listened to them, I guess, but I didn't hear. I don't know if it's the other way around, you hear and then don't listen, or you listen and don't hear, something like that.
Yeah.
I want to mention with that, within the context of the embodied soul, I want to mention that you offer embodied soul sessions, one-on-one embodiment sessions, and the embodied sanctuary. Oh, talk to me
Mhm.
about that. Are those retreats?
Yeah, there's a few different things that, like whatever resonates with people, how, wherever they are on their journey. Some people want to do one-on-one work, and so that's private. That would be me and you, and essentially helping people come back to themselves, and that's just like a unique journey per person, just depending on what got them away from self. So it's a very slow, gentle, and intimate process for people. And then, yeah, I do groups, I do retreats. I'm currently launching a really beautiful platform right now called Her Sovereign Way.
Mm.
And that is for women, I will say. Sorry, gents. Sorry, men of the world. But yes, we are focusing on women there, and this platform is representing all of the work that I do, helping women come back to themselves. So no matter what I do in the world, I know that the core truth is helping people remember who they are before the world told them who they had to be. So that will always be the truth in all of the things that I do.
Yes. Yeah. Speaking of the guiding principle, right? The ground that you stand on. Oh, I love
Yes.
that. Yes.
Yes.
I love everything about you. I mean, everything. It's
Oh,
so beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Morgan,
thank
for your
you.
presence in our reality, our shared reality. It's so inspiring. Your website is it's incredibly artistic and visual. It's just the colors and the patterns, everything about it. It's
Thank
inspiring.
you.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you. Yeah, I'm a visual as well. I think we also get to have beauty in the world. So I appreciate you
Mhm.
noticing that.
Yes, right. Why not? Right? We can,
Right.
in a sense, we can blend it all. Why not? And that's the thing. Sometimes we go one way, and that's why I love your message. What you mentioned earlier about the shadow work and this
Yeah.
masculine, feminine. That we can dance. We can just like we can just be whole, basically. And it's not
Right.
about perfection, right? It's about completeness. We can
Right.
just embrace all life and not just parts of it. I love artists for that reason too. That's exactly what they do, and
Yeah.
you come across very much that way, like an artist.
Thank
So
you.
artist, thank you. So I want to mention, we're almost at the end. I want to mention again your services. So you have the books and you have the decks, the decks on your website. So it's
Mhm.
morganlynn.com. It will be clickable on the podcast notes. And I want to mention the retreats. So everything's there, the sessions. Did I miss anything, Morgan, about your offerings?
No, I mean, I have an embodied pathway quiz if people are interested. It's an opportunity to just kind of see where you are as far as how you self abandon and the archetype that you run under for your self protection. That quiz is at joinherway.com. So, just a really yummy, easy thing to do to find out how you yourself are navigating on that level.
Oh, I want to write this down. So, can you say that again, Morgan,
I
please?
can, yeah, it's joinherway.com.
Way.com. So I
Yeah.
have both websites here. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you so
thank you
much
so
for that.
much.
Another, you're so generous. I see that on your website. There's so much information and beauty and wisdom.
Mm,
It's right there already. You
thank
can
you.
basically learn so much just by visiting your website. But of
I
course,
hope so. I hope so. My birthday is April 11th, and I like to tease about how I am 411. I am information.
so that's what it is. I love numbers too. They say
That's
a lot,
right.
numerology, right? Astrology, numerology, all that. Yeah,
Yeah.
everything's connected. They come together
Mm.
beautifully as we see it. Thank you again. Before we say goodbye, would you like to? I usually have a question for the end. I'll ask you this question. So let me ask you the ending question. But if you have anything else that you would like to mention, please do.
Mm.
How how do you see this idea of freedom? What is to be free? How would you describe that?
Mm. Freedom begins within, the freedom where we get to unlock the patterns and the beliefs that have been handed down generation after generation. Intergenerational trauma is such a thing, and we're born into it, we're given it, we're indoctrinated with it, and there is no freedom in that. And so for me, freedom really is touching in on what is true for you, having the courage to question, having the willingness to be curious about what's working, what's not working. Like, it really is about an unraveling for me, because freedom really is about who do you want to be unapologetically, in unshakable form. That's freedom, to stand in your whole being unapologetically.
Wow. Yes. Again, yeah, very much expected from you. Answers. They are very clear, very beautiful, very wise. Yeah. Thank you so much again, Morrighan, for being you.
Valeria, thank you so much for having me. I have enjoyed every single second of this. Thank you.
Me too. And we'll talk soon. We'll be in touch again. Bye for now, Morrighan. Thank you.
Thank you for listening. To learn more about Morrighan Lynn and her work, please visit morrighanlynn.com.